Cool. We're live streaming. There we go. Okay. It's the usual. It's the usual. I'm looking here because I'm making sure that we are live streaming. So, good morning, everyone. It's 20 past 10. It's the 1st of October, 2020. So, basically, the end of the year is just, Christmas is just around the corner. As insane as it sounds, we're really only meant to be in our kind of 10th month and doing that. So, I'm going to quickly go have a look at the markets and just go and see what's kind of on my watch list. Okay. So, I'm going to start. All right, we'll go at the top. Let's have a look at this. So on the dollar index, I was looking for a potential turning point on the daily. So what that means is that if I enlarge this so that you can see it, price has been in a weekly downtrend, had a long move down, has pulled back into this area, now producing a bearish candle. So the bearish candle is a potential, especially if we close lower this week. Remember, we've got non-farm payroll on Friday, and non-farm payroll could ultimately mean that it closes upwards as a bullish candle. So it could change the game. And actually, the impact of non-farm payroll only reveals itself later in the day. It only reveals itself like 5 o'clock UK time. Like basically, as we're heading into the weekend, it's still going in the US. So that's why that could actually change. But putting it there, the idea being that if it does close this week bearishly, next week we could see the market start to hit lower, seeing that US dollar continue to weaken, and then seeing the rest of the market start to climb. So looking across at euro dollar, this is what I'm looking for, at least between now and then, is to potentially see the euro dollar start to climb, and seeing it perhaps starting to break through and above and starting to head on upwards. So that would be pretty cool to see that happen, but nothing that really blows my mind just yet. Excuse the dogs, they're having a good time. Sterling, okay, so nothing jumping out just yet, but that's a big move. Maybe sterling is weaker than it is supposed to be. Nothing here. Principally speaking, Aussie dollar is climbing. It's nice and bullish. You know that if you look at it. So potentially there's some longs there that maybe will occur, say on the 1 hour off this level of support. There might be something there. Nothing so far is like, wow, that looks really good. Kiwi dollar also looking nice and strong so far. It's holding above support. Okay, so all of those support the idea of that weaker US dollar. Dollar yen having that reaction off that level. Okay, so there's a reaction off that level of support. It's creeping down towards it. Might ultimately see it break below that level. But we'll see. Until it does, I'm not going to invest in the idea of trading it short. Dollar Swissy setting up inversely to euro dollar, looking to perhaps go lower. All of these hinting at the potential for a weaker US dollar. But I would say post non-farm payroll, so very, like, basically non-farm payroll on the Friday and then a Monday just being there. I just think we need to be cautious. Okay, Euro GBP setting up as a bullish candle on the daily on monthly support. I think that's significant. I think there's a potential for those to continue on up. So that could be a nice opportunity there, meaning lower time frames looking for longs. And so that's an idea. And euro yen, not great. It's bullish, more bullish. Again, that daily having broken through resistance, coming back to support, producing a bullish candle. Euro Swissy is a mess. Look at that daily. You've got about 6 or 7 days. Just this whole period here is just insane. It's such a bad, it's a cluster, as they say. Kind of put it there, wrap it, kind of define the edge of it about there somewhere, and let's just project it forward so that we kind of see if we break out of it. And that's it. You've got to get out of that mess, so there's nothing really there while we're in it. Euro CAD, no. Euro Aussie, oh, this is the weekly as well, I beg your pardon. That's a weekly. It's also a mess. Euro Kiwi, looking more bearish than bullish. That could be the case. Dogs have just had their breakfast, so they're very happy. And I can't really pause this to go and sort it out. So this, to me, looks interesting. Again, this was a potential opportunity to go short here. So that was a potential opportunity to go short there. And actually, there's one here. And this makes sense because that's against weekly resistance. It's still within a downtrend, I think, pretty much, at least in terms of a weekly retracement. So that's a possibility. Nothing, again, GBP looking weak across the board, seeing it drop and drop and drop and drop, and so pound Swissy looks appealing to me for shorts to the downside. Why? Because it's got a daily uptrend, but look at this, it's actually gone into a downtrend on the 4-hourly. And the implication there being it's going to head lower, especially when you look at the other GBP pairs. So they're all in uptrends on the daily, but they all look very bearish. Okay, so maybe caution there on those, but look at that big drop. And that has potentially got to do with what was the news we had out this morning. We just had Lagarde potentially speaking, and so that might have strengthened the euro potentially. But Aussie Kiwi up against resistance, could become a swing high, so turning points. We're at a very interesting kind of point here where the markets might find themselves turning. Aussie pairs potentially looking to turn as well. Aussie yen, let's have a look. Aussie yen, that was a potential setup which would actually move now. The whole thing would move up to here. Killing me here. There we go. And so that would be that setup on yesterday's candle. Kiwi dollar, nothing really great here. Okay, so this one looks quite bullish. Of course, this is Kiwi yen. And again, it's in a downtrend on the daily. So we've got today, what's common today so far is that we've got a lot of really good trends up until the daily. So they look good on the lower time frames. And then you look and they're contra the daily trend. They're against the daily trend. So this is a downtrend that's made up of lower highs and lower lows, but intraday trading is all bullish. So what that means is you can trade it, but it's higher risk. Because you're in it, you're at a monthly support resistance level, price could turn today. So that's why I'm always very, very cautious about doing that. CAD yen, Swiss yen, they're all wanting to climb a bit higher. So possibly some of the yen pairs, basically the yen crosses for those. And I would go for the ones that are far away from any monthly or weekly support resistance levels that still have room to go. In other words, the ones that are the most overextended that are now currently retracing. Most overextended on the monthly, daily, and weekly probably. Case in point. So Swiss yen is now above this level of support and resistance. The next one up is potentially up here. So it's got a lot of room to go. And therefore, it's got that potential for intraday. It's a little bit safer to trade is where I'm going with this. Let's look at gold. So gold, what I'm looking for on gold is I want to see it head low. I want to see, ideally, if it's well behaved, it will turn around here and head down. Oh, hi guys. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I didn't. I just thought I had a couple of choices. I could either record and edit and post it on YouTube, or I could stream it live. But if it's too much effort for me to package it and put it online, it's just too tiring. Which is why the live streams are pretty cool. So I didn't mean to just surprise you. I just suddenly made the decision. I was like, I'll just go to a live stream. And actually, that just reminds me. I want to quickly share this to my guys and girls. Okay, so nice to see the regulars here as well. They do. There's a lot of sideways markets here. There really are. I think, and sometimes when they're sideways in the morning, they start trending in the afternoon in the directions you think they might, but because the US comes online. So, and I said the UK, I don't know what time that is for you guys, but it's sort of 2:30 UK time. And they sometimes start moving at 1 o'clock UK time as well. So we've got a bearish candle here. This could be a beautiful, like basically a breakout of support and a retest of resistance, and then carries on down. So that yesterday's candle is beautiful in that respect. But basically I'm looking for price to head lower. If it's going to do that, it will start showing that up on the 4 hour, for example. We'll start breaking these lows. So if I go and enlarge that, we will start to break these lows. So if I put in a temporary little marker somewhere around here, that will start to get broken. And I'm just going to mark it as temporary. Okay, just so I can see that one. And then that, if it starts breaking that, then the implication is there's opportunities to the downside. And so that would be pretty cool. We've got silver, which same idea. It's also formed kind of this bearish candle. Not great. So gold so far is the best one that I've seen out of everything so far. The rest, some of those yen pairs where it might be overextended and they might be sort of, those are okay. Some days where everything is a bit more organized, but today is not great. Let's have a look at platinum. Still in a downtrend on the daily. Palladium sideways. Okay, let's get on to crude oils. So crude oils, I'm also looking for those to head lower. Okay, so there might even be a bit of a setup. Look at the daily here. So the daily is actually a high and a low, and a lower high and a low low. So the daily is in a downtrend, certainly down towards 40 as a potential. If that had to close as a bearish candle today, it sounds really odd, but that might be a potential trade setup. A bearish candle here, I could put my stop loss above the high of that, or above the most recent swing high, which is probably above here, and then take an entry on that, because it's all in the direction of the overall momentum. So I understand if that doesn't strictly make sense to you, but if I think the momentum's going to head down and I end up with a bearish daily candle, that daily candle could be the signal that the market is now getting ready to make the commitment to head lower if tomorrow, Friday, it does do that. So that could be an interesting one later today. But of course, if it closes as a bullish candle by the end of today, it's not giving the same signal. But what I'm looking for on oils, on any of these, is really to see them head lower. You can see the daily pivot here holding everything up. So if it does start to break below that pivot, if it heads down below that, then I think it's likely to end up with a bearish with moves to the downside. So that daily pivot anywhere in this area, because sometimes platforms calculate the pivot slightly differently. They shouldn't, but maybe they do. Anyway, point being, central pivot, if we start to break below that, then it would imply that the market is probably going to head a bit lower. So you could use the pivots on the 5 minutes or 15 minutes as an indication of that. The Dow, meanwhile, looking more bullish than bearish. So these are basically looking more bullish than bearish. We got the S&P, they all look bullish. So in terms of I think where there may well be decent money, but it is to go long on these indices, keeping in mind that when the US comes online, it should continue. If it starts heading lower around in the early afternoon, then that's not a good sign, because the US markets are usually when the markets climb. That's usually when they climb. So if they don't climb, then they're probably not going to end higher. So if I was going to take them, I'd probably trade the lower time frames. And again, guys, always taking profit at one, always taking some profit off that table. So let's just say that I like the structure of the chart here. So it's cyclical. And so I'm waiting for price to maybe come back. This looks like a flat level breakout of resistance. Could come back to test it as support in a couple of hours. Produce a bullish candle that looks like this. This would be great. My entry above the high with my stop loss below the turning point or below the candle, whichever that is. And then taking profit at 1 to 1, 2 to 1, 3 to 1 as we go. That's the only way you could trade a market conditions like this, where you're protecting the money that you have and taking profit off the same time at the same time. If you think that, oh, no, the market's just going to keep going and I'm perfectly safe and I'm not going to take profits because I think that it's just going to keep going, that's a bad idea. I think it's healthier to approach the markets with, I'm just going to focus on today. Like, in other words, I'm not going to presume to think where the market's going over the next week, but if it's climbing today, I'm going to take profit, get my trade to break even, then even if the market changes its mind, I'm fine. And rather have that approach and then just take profits as you go. Because remember that it'll come back and you can get another entry and you can take another trade. But if it does turn around and fall, your losses are reduced. You might even be break even. So my goal is to get to a point where you don't lose anything, you actually break even or profit. That's really the goal. And that's the thing is that, so it's crucial to take profit 1 to 1, 2 to 1, and 3 to 1. After that, you can do what you want, but at those points, you have to do that. And so basically, that's what I'm looking for. So to kind of recap so far, on the most bullish indices, I'd be looking for trades on the 15 minutes or 30 minutes where those cycles are, looking for those bullish moves, definitely taking profit at 1 to 1. And then I can trail my stop behind the swings. But I would really only focus on today. So my point being is, I would get out of all these trades before non-farm payroll tomorrow, and then reassess on Monday. So if I make money today, that is the money that I make this week on the indices, and then I would just pass on that. I hope that makes sense. In terms of currencies, some of these pairs, the yen crosses, for example, might have a bit of a room to the upside, but again, I would take profit and then try and get to break even, because I just don't trust anything right now that could turn in the next 24 to 48 hours. It isn't always that in that situation. And so that's pretty much that. What's going on with Bitcoin? Bitcoin's climbing. Yeah, in terms of trading, guys, so not in terms of investing. If you have them, they might have some good trends on as well. They look bullish. They look good for bullish moves to the upside. Okay, so that's my scan. Let's have a look. Any questions? When you say profit, how much percentage do you take off? Okay, so basically I take 50% of the profit off at 1-to-1 target. The reason I do that is to get my trade to break even. That's it. And that's more of a, I've just kind of settled into that over the years, because I think my goal, especially with when you're trading large funds, is to just get to a point where you know you can't really lose money. That then you can just relax. Like once I get down, I'm like, okay, now anything I make from that point onwards is cream on top, so to speak. So it's always half the profit. It's basically the goal is to get me to break even. Cool. Okay. So to me, what scalping is today is it's still entering from the moving averages. Look at this there was a little flat level breakout here as well. To me, scalping is just trading a much lower time frame, but also taking profits at 1-to-1, 2-to-1, and 3-to-1. That's it. I mean, I know I've learned so many strategies over the years, but a lot of the scalping strategies can be 1-to-1, which is fine, but you really want to make sure that you've got a strong trend if you want to consistently make money on scalping. So that's it, gents. I'm going to wrap this up. It's done. It wasn't so bad. It took 9 minutes to do it, I think, so far. We'll see. If anything changes in the afternoon, I'll do another live stream. Okay, but there's not... so as I said, maybe some longs on the indices to the upside with caution. Some of the yen pairs moves to the upside, and then watching for weaker US dollar. Stronger euro, maybe stronger Aussie. Sterling does not look strong. Sterling looks really weak, so maybe there's some shorts on the GBP crosses. Okay. Yeah, I know. All right, ladies and gents, I'm going to leave you now, and we'll catch up later. You're most welcome. Chat you guys later.